I don't want you to just give it to me all at once. You know, I need you to.
You got to build. You got to build.
You got to build. Yeah, and so truth be told, people, we just opened up to like the first 2 minutes of this podcast, which was beautiful, and then I realized that we weren't recording. So we're gonna have to have a conversation about you being the best dressed man in Next 90 Nation history again.
Well, much appreciated, but like I mentioned before when we were on recording this, you better call those guys prior to me and give them a heads up.
No, you are looking good, man. You got the V-neck sweater on. You guys can't see this, but he's got a V-neck sweater on with a fat Windsor tie. I mean, it looks like somebody's presenting him an American flag that's all folded up just right there on the top of his neck. So you got to teach me how to do that.
Hey.
I'll teach you some things, but
couple
you
minutes.
You teach me how to do that.
Yeah, I've tied this a few thousand times, but you can learn it.
That's good. I want you to hold on to that. I want you to hold on to that few thousand times to get the perfect Windsor, because we're gonna go there. So today's gonna be a little bit different. One is we're gonna figure out how to actually record a podcast. Two is we're gonna break cadence. We're gonna break cadence. If you're listening to this podcast and you've been listening all week, it's kind of been a different feel, and I want to take this to a whole new level today, and I want to do something that I've never done, and I'm bringing in somebody that I've known for a while, and someone that I care about, and I believe this person cares about me. We're going to call him for now. We're going to call him Case Study X or Mr. X. He does have a name, and we're just not going to reveal it at this point because his name doesn't matter. What does matter is his desire and his willingness to come on here and be vulnerable, and his desire to level up his life. Am I accurate so far in all of that?
100%.
Okay, so I've known Mr. X for 15 years now. We were just chatting about it.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the earliest days of my entrepreneurial journey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
prior to that, yeah.
Yeah, right. Actually, when I was like leaving my stable marketing job and starting my first business, so you've been able to see me kind of ebb and flow in this whole thing, and we'll get into that in a second here. But Mr. X had reached out to me and said, "Hey, how are you framing up these 90-day challenges? I'm ready to take my life to a new level," correct?
Absolutely.
So what was it about what I was doing prior to this podcast and with this podcast that had you attracted to this and wanted to come have this experience that we're about to have today?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've watched you through the years, right? The ebbs and flows, the highs and the lows, and seeing you over the last probably 3-4 years have things, I don't want to say somewhat settled down, but I think you got really specific on where you were, where you wanted to go, even through all the success you had accomplished, and saw you being consistent with that going forward, leveling up, challenging yourself. You know, those that you're surrounding yourself with are all super successful guys that were challenging you too. And just kind of, this 90-day concept just resonates with me. Cool. Things I've done in the past, when you set a specific, target or goal and you pay for it. Let's say on the athletic side, I've typically trained and done it.
Right.
When I've done things in other areas, maybe business-wise, setting up accountability, I've probably set a goal and then didn't get there and just brushed it off onto the next.
Right.
And so I've done that so many damn times that it's just become one of those things that...
A pattern.
Why even set goals?
Right.
Because I'm doing okay, but... it's just one of those things that I didn't have the accountability, nor did I desire that aspect of it. And I've been doing it a long time, and time is flying by, and it's just one of those things where it's like...
It's time.
Let's do this.
It's time. I mean, you literally have nothing to lose. Everything to gain.
100%.
Nothing to lose, everything to gain.
I agree.
And so, I applaud you, first of all, for coming on here and being willing. So Mr. X sent me a text message and said... hey, I want in on this 90-day stuff. And I said, okay, well, and I sent him kind of like a laundry list.
It's like 15-point text message reply back. Like.
And I said, and then I had this like epiphany. I'm like, dude, I'm going to do something. I said, are you open to a new experience? And you said, yes. I said, I'm going to fucking like radically shift the way you think. And I'm going to push you outside of your comfort zone. Are you open to that? And you said,
I said, yeah. I mean, typically.
And how uncomfortable are you right here, right now?
Oh, this is something new.
I mean, as buttoned up as you look, I know that you're
the
like,
shit's gonna pop off. Yeah,
you're shaking on the
you better
inside.
believe it.
And so what I'm going to do, and what I've been doing this week is I've been mixing things up because I want you guys to see, like, someone that's not in this quote unquote warrior lifestyle that I talk about. It's just a person who's has a formative amount of success, a loving father, a loving husband, but is just, in his own words, as he just said, just okay. And good is the enemy of great. And so we're going to shatter good and we're going to move into great. And so what you're about to hear and what's about to happen over the next, I don't even know how long, I'm not going to put a time frame on it, is we're going to walk through like how to form a 90-day challenge. And then we're going to get some commitments from Mr. X. And what we're going to do after this is I'm going to, week by week, I am going to check in with you. I'm going to hold you fiercely fucking accountable, not to what I want, but to what you said you want and to where you want to go. And the craziest part about this, Mr. X, is that in doing so, I am going to have to live at the highest level of accountability to myself.
Yeah.
Because I have to learn this, I have to live this, and then I have to lead it. And every time I do that, I will become better. And so, like, I can't talk about, this next 90 nation and leveling up your life if I'm not willing to take someone on that journey with me. And so you just happen to be the lucky one. I mean, I've coached tons of men, but I've never done it like in this format here that we're about to do right now. So I applaud you for that. So,
and I appreciate you for coming up with this crazy idea and lobbing it out to me because, it's one of those old, when the student's ready, right?
Yeah, the teacher will appear.
Yeah. So here we are.
And in many ways, I am still a student in this game. Every day. I mean, I went surfing, with my mentor this morning. I've been surfing with him a couple times a week, and I just want to be in close proximity because I've seen what he's done, and I'm nipping at those heels. And so now, like, it's about, like, he's brought me up, and now hopefully, like, I can continue to bring other men like you up, and like your courage and your bravery that you're displaying here today, and what we're about to do and embark on over the next 90 days is radically going to change your life. I have no doubt. If you stay committed to the process.
Yeah.
And then 2, it'll radically change the people that are listening right now. And then we're going to follow up in 90 days and see where you're at. So, all right. So before we begin, I just want you to put your feet firmly on the floor and get comfortable in your chair. And I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths. I'll guide you through it. Don't start now. And I'm just going to give you just a quick 60-second guided meditation to set the intention and to set the frame for, what we're about to embark on today, okay?
Okay.
So take a deep breath in and release. Deep breath in number 2 and release. And on this final breath, take a deep breath in and hold it for a minute and release. With your eyes still closed, I want you to kind of take if you could, like, fast forward, if you started from, kind of your early adulthood, and just watch your life kind of open up before your eyes and see what happens. See your journey into college. See, those wild times. See yourself meeting your wife, getting your first job, cashing that first paycheck, having your first child, followed by your second, followed by your third. See how you've grown professionally, how you've grown emotionally, how you've grown spiritually, and just kind of fast forward. And I want you to come right here to this moment and understand that every single one of those moments that happen are on purpose. Like, these dots have all connected. There's a reason why you came into my life 15 years ago, and there's a reason why 15 years today we're having this conversation. So everything is connected. And I know you believe that. I know you're a spiritual man. And so, I want you to just look over that life and be grateful and give yourself some grace, give yourself some mercy. Let go of the shame, let go of the guilt, let go of the shoulda, woulda, couldas right now, because you can't change anything about that. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to build a framework for moving forward. And so then I want you to look into the future, but not too far. I just want you to see like what would be possible in your life if the things that are holding you back right now were removed. If the things that you believe are standing in your way from who you want to be were gone. And look at that man that's standing there. You recognize him. It's you. How does he look? What's the shape of his jawline? What does his belly look like? How do his pecs look? How big is his Windsor nut? Like how does the relationship look like with his queen, his wife, his partner in crime? What's the look on her face seeing this man that you ultimately want to become? Like how are the kids viewing you as you walk through the door? And how do you feel when they greet you? You know, picture yourself logging into your bank account, and what does it look like? How many zeros are in it? How many commas are in it? You know, look at your book of business. How many clients are in it? Like, what are you doing in your client's life? I want you to imagine your connection with God, like what that would look like, you know, and how God would be speaking to you and what God would say to you at the end of this journey. And I want you to look at that, and I want you to imagine it's a mirror. The version of you now is on one side, and the version that you desire to become is on the other. And I want you to look at that man, and I want you to understand that you are that man. And everything that you want about, everything you love and desire about the man, you have and possess inside of you right now. All the strength, all the courage, all the wisdom, all the vulnerability, you know, all the pain, all the sorrow, like it's all there right now. And I want you to set your intention that no matter what happens, because life is going to happen, that you will meet that man at the end of this 90 days. You will meet that man, you will shake his hand, and you will bring him into your life. And the man that you see before you today, like, he won't be gone, like, because it's you, but he will just have kind of rolled into this new version of yourself. And I want you to commit to that man and say, I will meet you in 90 days. You don't have to say it out loud, but just in your mind, I will meet you in 90 days. And I want you to set the intention. I want you to set the intention for your children. I want you to set the intention for your wife. I want you to set the intention for your business and the clients and the lives that you touch, because you do good work. And the work that you do has an impact. And you have to understand that it has an impact. You have to understand that it's impacted my life. And there's times where because of the work that you did, like, my life was salvaged. And own that shit and set your intention right now. I want you to sit in that for 5 seconds. And then take a deep breath in. Release. One more. And release. And final one, I want you to just breathe it all in, and I just want you to be present right here. The world is going to slow down, and it's just going to be you and me and these microphones and a radical conversation. Take a deep breath in. Set the intention. And release. All right, open your eyes. How do you feel?
Feel good.
Could you see it?
Yeah.
Was there some emotions that were percolating inside of you?
No, 100%.
Yeah. So it is possible. And so, like, I want you to set that intention, because I want you to know, like, I take this very seriously. I know that you're taking it very seriously, but I wanted to put you into the frame of, like, where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
But in order to get there, we have to understand where you are. Okay. So the only thing I ask from you is radical fucking honesty.
Yep.
Even if it is, hey, you know, I don't feel comfortable answering that question. Then we'll collide in that for however long it takes, right? But I just want radical honesty, okay?
Fair.
So, is your life right now working or not working?
I wouldn't be here if it was on fire, 100%, 10 out of 10 in all aspects of my life.
Okay, great. And so, as we talk about it, we're going to break things down into what we call the core four. You've heard me talk about it on the podcast. You've heard me talk about it ever. So that's going to be your physical body, your being, which is your connection to whatever it is that you believe, and you'll share what you do believe in a moment. Your relationship with your wife and your children, and then your business, like how much money you're bringing in, and then how much money you're taking home. So first of all, how old are you?
38.
38 years old, same as me. And you're married, and how long have you been married?
15 years this June.
Oh, 15 years. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And you have?
3 kids.
All boys?
All boys. All
Fucking
crazy kids. Yeah.
And so, you know, I'll just have you consider, we're going to pause on that moment right there.
Okay.
Like, Are you the adult that you want those boys to be right now?
No.
Like you are the mirror, you are the gateway. Those men will ultimately become some version of you. The version now or the version, in 90 days from now and so on and so forth. So one of the things that drives me is I always ask myself, am I the adult that I want my children to be?
Mm-hmm.
Some days it's yes, most days it's no.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm a work in progress. And part of hitting this little record button, you said, I am clay. And you're just malleable. And I can see right now that you're leaning into this, you're completely open. So understand that you have an opportunity right now and tomorrow and the next day to have that question be yes more often than it's no. Mm-hmm. It's not always going to be yes.
Yeah.
It's just not. We're not fucking perfect. Okay. So 38, married, you're in the financial services industry. By any stretch of the imagination, you do very well. You have a 6-figure plus income.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
You've built up a book of business. You've been doing that how long?
15 years.
15 years. All right. So
Yeah.
good. What's your religious background?
It's a Christian background.
Okay. You go to church?
I do.
Okay, cool. All right. So now we're going to start. We're going to start from body. Okay. Where are you at right now in your body? Like if you had to describe it, where are you at in your body?
Yeah, I'd say I'm active. I'm active with my kids.
Okay.
So I'm not.
And define that for me.
Meaning, when I come home from the office on the weekends, I go with my kids. We do play basketball out front. 2v2, 2 older kids versus me and the little guy.
Nice.
And we're active from that perspective.
Is that every day or is it?
That's probably at least 3 times a week.
Okay.
And then on the weekends, usually at least once a month, I'll do a hike with my little guy, just kind of up the hill close by us because he enjoys that aspect of it.
So would you describe yourself as in shape or out of shape?
I'm
in
probably,
between shapes.
I'm in shape, but not at the optimal point where I'd like to be, to where I'm, setting certain things and challenging myself to utilize the physical gifts I've been given to do certain things.
Do you feel like your body is weaponized on a daily basis?
No.
Okay. If I asked you to take your shirt off right now and walk out into that 100-person,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So because you don't have that level of confidence.
Correct.
Okay. So we're active, as a result of having 3 active children. But we're just not being intentional about our activity.
Correct.
Let's talk about fuel. What are you putting in your body?
Yeah. Primarily, I eat pretty well.
Okay.
So on a weekly basis, my typical meals. Let's to give you an idea. This morning, it's 3 eggs, and from a breakfast perspective, cup of coffee really early, cup of coffee after that, and that's it.
Do you drink?
Do I drink? Typically, if there's on occasion. I don't drink on a daily basis unless it's somebody's birthday party. Even if we have a pizza party, typically you're not going to find me with
Would
a
you
beer in my
describe
hand.
yourself as a social drinker?
Probably social drinker. Yeah, unless it's some occasion, you're not going to find me with a cocktail.
When's the last time you were drunk?
Oh, well, St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
There was a birthday party.
I thought you were going to say back at my house in.
Yeah, 2000, whatever that was. Yeah.
No. Okay. Cool. So we're active as a result of having active children. I know that you're very involved in the children's sports, so that keeps you active. But you're not intentional. And we're going to keep using this word intentional about weaponizing your body every single day. You're lean, but not to the point where you'd feel comfortable, ripping your shirt off and running down the beach. And it's not about that. It's not about, the 6-pack. This is all about accessing power.
Yeah.
Your body is a vessel. You believe in God. You believe that God it lives inside you. So this vessel contains, God. It contains your soul. It contains all of these things. And it's the vessel that shall carry you through life. And that vessel, you wouldn't go put fucking diesel into your car right now if it's not a diesel car, right?
Correct.
And so it's weird how human beings, our greatest asset is our body, is our physicality, but we're not intentional about tapping into that power every single day. And so we'll cover that in a moment here, but I just want to, like, we have to get the facts. I don't want feelings. I don't want you to tell me like how you feel about your body. Like, it's just facts. So the facts is that you're active but not intentionally active. You eat well, probably not all the time. You don't drink, and you're not in a place where you feel like your body is weaponized. Is that an accurate statement?
That's accurate.
Okay, cool. So now moving on to being. Do you feel like you're living your purpose in life?
Living up to it?
Just living, like, do you feel like your life is being lived on purpose for a purpose, or do you feel like you're just kind of careening off the guardrails and just taking, like, going where the river flows?
No, I'm my schedule will dictate, if I've got an early meeting, I'm up bright and early, ready to rock, right? If I've got a meeting that's at 10 a.m., my morning might start a little bit slower. So am I getting up, like...
Are you being intentional about, like, hey, I am Mr. X, I want my life to look like this, and this, and so every day, like, I'm getting up fueled by that purpose to go ultimately where I want to go?
No.
Okay. Connection with God, is it how, like, scale of 1 to 10?
I'd say it's probably about an 8 right now.
So would you define it as one of the stronger areas of your life? If I had to take body, being, balance, business?
If we're being present at this moment, I would say yes.
Okay, cool. You pray or not pray?
Let's pray.
You pray. Do you journal?
Do not.
Okay. And do you meditate at all?
Couple times a week.
Couple times a week.
I it's been one of those things that I've been intentional on lately. So if you take me over the last month, I've probably been on, a couple days a week of I'm up at 4 a.m., I'm downstairs. First thing I'll do, I'll sit on the couch, sit up straight, pillow behind my back, and I will set my timer on my iWatch for about 10 minutes.
Cool.
And
are you doing mantras? Are you doing...
I've listened to different people about some of those things.
Yeah.
So what sometimes when you get into like some deep thought prayer, sometimes my mind just goes different spots.
Sure.
So what I've done is I just count out 20 deep breaths just to kind of set the tone.
Yeah.
And then
good.
Get my cup of coffee. I'll do some work stuff, and then my day's going.
Okay, cool. So good. That's good. I'm so happy to hear that, because we got a little bit of a foundation, because meditation is going to be a big part of this.
Yeah.
Big part of this. It helps you get in tune with that living on purpose, for purpose. So is there something that, like, in that process, in that meditative process, or in your prayer, is there like a reoccurring theme at all that's happening? Like a story that you're telling yourself, or like this insatiable desire for something? Do you ever notice something like that? Or, is it like telling you do more? Is it telling you suck? Like, is it what?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, I think recurring for me through the years has just been subpar.
Okay.
Right, based on my potential that I would say maybe other people have seen in me, that I have not lived up to.
Isn't that funny how, I know you, and I see untapped potential, probably conversely, like you see in me. So that's good though. That's good that you're recognizing that. So it's kind of like this story of like, hey, I'm not doing enough, and so let's move into one of the more difficult ones. Which is the balance. And so we'll start with your children.
Yeah.
What are the ages?
13, 11, and 9 this July.
So you got little men that are coming through. Mm-hmm. And like, scale of 1 to 10, how tight are you with those kids?
I'd say probably about an 8.
That's awesome. And I know you're very active. Like, how often do you spend time with them? Like, I'm talking like uninterrupted, no phone in the hand, just like dad, kid, present.
Time. Probably at least 3-4 times a week.
Good. Okay. Good. And then, are you telling them you love them every single day? Hugging them, kissing them, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you thought about what you want your life to look like with them, and kind of what your family mission statement is around?
Yeah. There's not a family mission statement, and the parenting aspect for me has changed dramatically over the last few years.
Okay.
To me...
And how so?
To me, give me 3 toddlers and no sleep and dealing with a baby that is tired, hungry, or sick, versus now I got kids that they'll just call you out. Your punishment for one was different for the other.
Right.
In my parenting handbook, because I'm a function of what I learned from my parents, which wasn't, they did their best, but we didn't have conversations. We didn't talk about anything in my household. So talking to... having conversations and knowing kind of a framework to talk to my kids to get deeper with it
Yep.
versus somewhat surface.
Yep.
That's probably what I challenge with the most. You know, I think I am present. I'm there, and they see that aspect of it.
Do you come home at all like feeling heavy from the day, feeling like maybe you didn't do enough for them or do enough for yourself? And like, is there ever a time where there's multiple conversations happening? There's the conversation that's like physically happening with them, but then there's this side monologue in your brain that like you're worried about, did I close that deal? Am I on track? And blah, blah, blah. Like, does that ever happen?
I think what happens is my ability to handle conflict situations on the home front is different because of those things coming in.
Okay.
All right. When I've had a great day and I have patience and I can handle certain things, I'm not a childish parent that maybe is sparking a fire versus helping to ease one and put one out. I think that's how it affects it.
Okay.
On a daily basis, the way I see it is my day's kind of my day.
So dad has a good day. Dad comes home happy, energetic, and patient. Dad has a bad day. Dad comes home irritable. Like
I'd say not as much as that, right? I think I'm pretty level.
Okay.
But I think as far as when certain things arise and stuff like that, that's how it kind of portrays itself. I'm for the most part, I'm pretty even keel on the home front, but I can be somewhat immature as a parent too.
Oh, we all are.
Yeah, extremely, especially more so.
Yeah, there's a grace that'll come along with that too. So married for 15 years, three kids, had to be fucking crazy. Where are you at right now with your wife? Like, marriage working, not working, lukewarm?
Yeah, we've been together for 20 years.
Okay,
so
it's a long time.
I've had one girlfriend my entire life, and I'm married to her.
Wow, it's awesome. So working, not working.
So I'd say we're probably about a 6 right now.
Good.
She is dedicated, loving, loyal beyond.
And she knows you're here.
She knows I'm here. We talked about it. And she is amazing.
Awesome. She's your rock.
And the things we struggle with is having difficult conversations.
And is that difficult conversations like you're not willing to have those difficult conversations?
I'd say I probably shy away and hide from it more often for fear of
difficult conversations around
financial, parenting, mostly financial. I'd say as of probably the last 5-6 years.
Okay.
From that perspective.
And we'll I want to kind of set that aside for a moment because we're going to go into that from a business perspective.
Yeah.
But yes, finances it's the number one cause of divorce.
Yeah.
But let's talk. I want to talk about something that's more important than money. It's connection.
Yep.
How often are you guys having sex?
We have sex probably once a month.
Once a month. Mm-hmm. And what do you desire?
Oh, I would. So to me, from that perspective,
if she couldn't get
what I desire, what can be
if she couldn't get pregnant,
I would think from a healthy perspective, once to twice a week, because I think part of it's maybe my aspect of not deserving it, and I've never talked to her about this aspect of it. And on her side, it may be one of those things where it's like, dude, after her long day and everything else, the last thing she wants to be doing is doing that.
Did she tell you, or did she tell you that, or is that something?
I don't think she tells me that. To me, I don't know. I like to make the love aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like it's like I like it to be some experience there with all that involved.
You like to light candles and put on the Cisco
I don't
CD.
think it to that extent, right? But I don't just want to just get it over with in 2 seconds and be done. Because to me, it's like, that's not making love to my wife.
Right.
So.
Okay, and cool, and I think we'll shatter some of those frames because it doesn't always have to be making love, man. Sometimes it's primal. I mean, I literally believe there's a difference between having sex, making love, and straight up fucking. And I think you have to have all of those things in order to have like a healthy sexual connection with your partner.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be able to help you with that because I was the same way. I was there once a month, once every other month. I mean, we have 2 kids under 4 and they're 14 months apart, so it got weird for a while. And now my wife and I we're probably 2 to 3 times a week consistently, but we actually had a conversation about it. We actually talked about like what her sexual expectations of me were and mine of her, and like we actually made a commitment and agreement to one another. How often are you going on date nights?
Oh, that's a rare occasion.
Rare, but I mean, let's get factual here. So, when's the last time you guys went on a date night?
I can't. I can't remember that.
Really?
It's probably been maybe once or twice within the last year.
And when's the last time you went on a trip with just you and her?
Just the two of us, no friends, no nothing.
Yep. Mano
It
y
might have
mano.
been our anniversary last year,
Okay. Before that,
probably the year before, similar time frames, just the two of us.
do you think there might be a correlation between your once a month intimacy, your unwillingness to have difficult conversations, and the amount of time that you guys are spending together alone as a couple, not inside the house, not once the kids go to sleep, but in being intentional? Do you think there might be a correlation there?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, cool. And then we'll fix that. And you obviously have a strong desire to continue married to your wife.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
She's amazing.
Cool. That's great. That's good because that's the desire of all of this, right? That like you wouldn't be sitting here if there wasn't a want, a need, and a desire. So that's awesome. Okay, so now let's go back. We talked about the financial thing. Are you guys struggling financially? Or
Let's say I'm not meeting my expectations to be able to do the things I want to do with my family. Right?
But I mean, you guys paying the bills?
Paying the bills,
Are you? I mean, putting food on the table?
putting food on the table.
You got money set aside?
Got money set aside.
So you're not broke.
Not a ton.
You're not broke.
We're not broke in any way, shape.
Okay.
Right,
And
when
you
you
do
look at the big picture.
and you do well.
Yeah, I do well.
Yeah, you do well. You got a formative book of business, but so when you say you're fighting about finances, like, are you fighting yourself or are you fighting her?
I'm fighting. Probably it's my inner battle to not be producing at a level I want to be, to then take that worry off the table for her, right? So what I mean by that is by me not hitting expectations, I'm not paying my family enough to be able to do the things that we'd like to do. You know,
give me an example.
An example would be going on a family vacation on an annual basis.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
If it's a good month, bad month, whatever, you know,
So your
Paycheck.
your income ebbs and flows.
my income ebbs and flows, and it's, you know, somewhat, it can be a paycheck to paycheck at some points in time. We continue to save throughout, and it's
Right.
always like, well, should we stop saving as much as we do?
Right.
And I'm like, no, we're not going to stop saving as much as we do. And so it's probably been more from that aspect of things.
Cool. Now, do you think you have like a scarcity mindset when it comes to your finances, or an abundance mindset?
Oh, it's scarcity. I'm hanging on to what's there.
And how do you think that is showing up in your day-to-day business?
I think it's a definite reflection of that.
Good. So good. I mean, the great part about you, Mr. X, is that sounds like you've been very like thoughtful about all of this, and that you have, you know, kind of looked at these areas. Maybe not in the way I've framed them up for you, but like you've had these conversations internally in this monologue. So when you saw that man about 15, 20 minutes ago in the mirror,
Yeah.
what did he look like physically? What did he look like physically? When I put you into that meditative state, what did he look like?
Yeah, he's a picture of fitness. I mean, in shape,
Did-
pecs, six pack.
Was he standing taller than you stand now?
I was looking down on the guy in the mirror. Absolutely. Yeah.
The you version
The,
now,
you,
right?
the current version of me on the other side of the mirror was being looked down on.
Was he confident?
Confident, standing tall, shoulders back.
Okay. So he was weaponized in his body. I asked you to how did that spiritual connection look like? Like when I said, 90 days from now, what does that spiritual connection look like? What did it look like comparative to now?
I would say it's consistent, strong, and it's there regardless of what's occurring in my life, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's basically having faith regardless of the struggles, regardless of the victories.
And so that being part is also like self-love. How did that version love you, or how did that version love itself?
I'd say he was happy in his own skin, right? Regardless. So it didn't matter who's looking at him. He's confident in his own skin.
Are you happy in your own skin?
Right now, when I
Yeah.
look in the mirror, I'd say
Do you love yourself?
not as much as I would like to.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's
Like I look okay. Like I'm not like, I look probably like a guy 30 years old that had kids young in life, that's put on a couple pounds, that can stay active. But I think there's a whole lot more.
So that's going to be a big part of this is loving yourself at the end of this process, or loving yourself more than you do now. It's a constant struggle. I battle with it all the time. I'm radically insecure. And people think that can't be possible, but
I'd say we can definitely relate on that front.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my close friends at home, we go on trips and, they make me a hat that says #mayor because they're like, everywhere we go, somebody.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
To the fact that if I told them I was very insecure about
right.
who I am and everything else.
And I want you to consider too something about that the reason why you know everybody and the reason why everybody knows you is because that you're not fully loving yourself. So you just like spread that love so far across everybody, right? And in order to get the validation and the affirmation that you are loved, because you don't possess enough of it internally, you have to go outside and seek it externally. Is that a fair statement?
I'd say somewhat. Because if you find me, if my family's away for the weekend,
yeah,
I'm typically not going to be going out to different groups.
I understand that, but what I'm saying, like when you are around other groups, you're like, the mayor. You're kissing hands, or you're shaking hands and kissing babies.
I think it's just been because my intention to be interactive with these people,
sure,
and not come at them from a sales perspective or
right.
anything else. One thing I'll do is I'll contact people that I walk across a few times, and just call them up because you can find anybody business wise, and just be like, hey, I don't know your story. We say hi in public in the community. And I'd love to know what you're all about. And I think from that perspective, on the genuine aspect of my approach, I think maybe, I find some affirmation there to when I see people down the road and, hey, there's that guy that really actually cares about us.
Yeah.
There's probably something internally that.
Okay, well, we'll tap into that more. And the only reason I say that is because like that's how I am. I know somebody everywhere, and it's because most of the time I'm like trying to make sure everybody loves me instead of like focusing on how much I love me. Okay, so this guy in the mirror, he's standing taller, he's looking fitter, he's weaponized, he's loving himself a lot more. How do you think that man would show up in your kids' lives and your wife's lives? Like, what did that look like?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what did that look like? How was your wife looking at you in that process?
Oh, proud. She's looking like that's my dude.
Yeah,
like 100%.
That's awesome. That's my dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure she's proud of you for sure right now. But we always have this room for growth. How do the kids look at you?
I think in that same light, like wanting to be like dad in some way, shape, or form, seeing dad challenge himself.
What does it mean to like when the kid says, I want to be like dad? Like how does that make you feel?
I mean, that's massive. I mean, as of right now, like I'm not thinking they're saying that,
right?
But my internal message is like, dude, are you the version, like you asked me earlier, like are you the version of the person you want your kids to be?
Right.
And there's just not the challenge and drive in that aspect. I don't want them sitting here at 38 years old going, dude, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I all about? Am I just letting life flow by and just happen? Or am I making things happen on purpose and getting the life that I want?
Yep. Cool. And then so like, would you think that guy would be having more sex or less sex with your wife? I mean, it's weird to think about another man having sex with your wife, but like the new version of you, do you think that guy would be having more sex or less sex?
Oh, I think for sure more because there's
and if there's more sex, do you think there's more connection?
100%.
And if there's more connection, do you think there's more love for the kids?
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's more love for the kids, do you think there's more certainty?
Yeah.
And if there's more certainty, do you think that how did that guy show up in the business? Like what did it look like?
Dude, whether there's a case that goes through or a reversal doesn't matter because he knows he's going to get it.
Right. Like, I mean, I've heard you talk a lot about other people kind of in your space and in your office. And I'm like, I always ask you, I'm like, I've asked you a couple times, like, what do you got to do that? And you give me this like, very like formulaic type thing. Well, I got to do this, I got to do that. I got to, and I'm challenging you to think that it's just that you fucking believe that you can do it. Because there's nothing different than, dude, you're the most ethical, honest, hardworking, fucking follow up like a goddamn motherfucker person I've met.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so in many ways I don't know these other men, but you're probably way better than they are. But the difference is they believe they can do it, and you believe you're still trying to figure it out. You know, in many aspects. So if your body was completely weaponized with fitness and fuel, if you were connected, you know, spiritually and to your purpose, and you felt like whole, you're meditating so you could, you know, get to understand and love yourself more, like putting your thoughts down on the paper to get it out of you and read them, your own scripture, and you're physically connected to the wife, going on date nights weekly, having sex at least once a week, but you know, 2 to 3 times a week would be the goal. Spending time deliberately, intentionally with the children, and had a fucking bulletproof, you know, plan for your business. How do you think you would feel at the end of this 90 days?
Watch out. I mean, get out the way.
Right, like run through a brick wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we are going to do. That's what we are going to do. That's where we're going to take you. Like, I'm going to hold you accountable to what you said you were going to do, and we're running short on time today. You know, so I'm going to wrap this up here in a minute. But I wanted the audience to see like step fucking one. One is to be radically honest, which you were, and I totally honor and appreciate you for that. And also see like that you hold the keys. Like the keys are in your hand, right? You've created this quote unquote prison, this dwelling, whatever you want to call it. Like you've created it. The keys are in your hand. I'm just letting you know that the keys are there. You know, and now we're starting to unlock some possibility. I put you into a frame and a mindset of where you wanted to go. I had you see yourself being that version so you can actually believe it and understand that it's right there. And then what I'm also doing is I'm helping you understand like what would be different if all of that were happening. And then how do you feel like right now just thinking about that? Like how do you feel right now thinking about that version you saw in the mirror?
Fueled up.
Yeah.
My cup is full.
Like you want to go run that lake
Running
right
over.
now, right?
I mean, it puts you in a mindset to where I am worthy of calling X prospect.
Right.
Versus that guy's on a pedestal and I don't know if he needs. No, he needs me to call him.
Exactly. Like I owe it to him to call him.
Absolutely.
You know, I owe it to my wife to come home and sweep her off her feet and bang up the headboard a little bit. I owe it to my children, you know, to come home, like no matter the day I had, and feel like dad won. Even though the battles, I got scars, I got bruises and bumps, dad won. And to see that and to lean into them with love and power and certainty, you know? And then also like, you know, give thanks every day and feel like you're living a life on purpose and like feel good about your body, you know, and that you're weaponized. Like it's it. That it's not a crazy formula. It's not something that's earth shattering.
Yeah.
It's just doing little shit every single day in each one of those 4 aspects, the core 4, and feeling yourself forward. So we're gonna come back. Mr. X will be on another episode. It'll be a back-to-back, so this will be to be continued because I want to be respectful of the audience's time here. And I want to make sure that this has an impact. But what you just saw there is like the beginning of the framework for a 90-day challenge. And, you know, that's what we call kind of the gap map, right? We call it like where you are and where you want to go and then the gap in between. And now we're going to talk about how do we bridge that gap? How do we go from where we are now that now that we've stripped you down raw?
Yeah.
So, you know, if this were a figurative stripping down, the Windsor knot would be untied. You'd just be sitting here, you know, cupping your balls butt naked in the studio, but that would be equally weird. But now that we've gotten you there, now we can start to build that bridge. And that bridge is the 90-day challenge. That bridge is a formula. It's a step-by-step way to get you from where you're at to where you want to go. And we haven't completely defined where you want to go. We've just seen the you version of that, right?
Yeah.
So we will have, so tune into the next episode. I'm going to do these back to back. And we're going to go back to back episodes. So Mr. X, appreciate you being here. And we're going to do another episode to follow us up. And we're going to start to look at what does it look like in 90 days? Where is Mr. X going to be in 90 days? And we're going to build this framework to get you there. So any closing thoughts? Like how you feeling right now? Are you ready?
I'd say I am. I mean, I'm there's no.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Sorry. So another thing that I want you to be intentional about.
Okay.
I'm doing this completely for free for you. I do charge money for coaching and consulting.
Yeah.
I have people pay me as much as $20,000 a month to come in and help them from a business perspective, but I never fix their business. I fix them.
Yes.
Right. I'm not going to charge you, but what I do want your commitment for is that you're going to write me a check for $5,000, and I'm going to hold on to this check. And at the end of the 90-day challenge, like if we hit the majority of your targets, you're going to rip that check up in front of my face. If you don't hit the targets, I'm going to cash that check. Is that fair enough?
That's a good amount of money.
I know it's a good amount of money.
Yeah. That's.
But what is what is your relationship
you-
with your children worth? What is your
If
intimate connection?
If you said $500, this may not be something that motivates me.
Exactly.
So I'd say, I mean,
I'm only cashing
let's-
the check if you don't do what you say you're going to do. That's it.
we're in.
Okay, cool. So stay tuned to the next episode of The Next 90 with Nick. Head over to ownthenext90.com, ownthenext90.com. Put in your email. You're going to get, you should see a nice little cool video, and there'll be a box for you to put in your email. I'm going to send you the gap map, kind of what we just went through with, and I'm going to give you an instructional guide on how to do that. So head over to ownthenext90.com and put in your email. Until then, own the next 90